from Inglewood, California, but I've been around the world now. Yeah, yeah, a lot of perspective. Can't wait for you to tune in live from the dead Monday night, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. We're gonna have great conversations, and you can find us on TGN Talk.
Hey everyone, it's the Primos Chidos.
Hopefully you're enjoying this show, but if it sucks, be sure to check out our show, live Thursdays at 12.
Yeah, join me and my sister and basically my brother as we discuss everything from immigration to ejaculation.
If that sounds interesting, then we're the show for you.
Warning, the following podcast features discussion of sensitive topics, graphic content, and uncensored stupidity. Unless otherwise stated, the featured content is not discussed by professionals or experts. TGN and the Primos Chidos must advise against taking.
Yeah. This is Brown Wealth Radio. Brown Skin Investors.
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific.
To be specific.
So our son, investment bars.
Hey, why you look taller than me?
Yes, sir. Because I'm big today, baby.
Investment bars. Let's start with the golden rule. Play
Yes,
with money
sir.
that you can't lose. You acting like a fool.
Yes,
Don't gotta
sir.
be debt free, but you gotta have the bills paid. Some money on the side just in case one of
Alrighty. Welcome, everybody to Brown Wealth Radio. We have an empty studio out here today. It's just my boy Dogra and myself. I
That's
am
all we
Rick
need,
as
man.
always, but we got this. We're gonna hold it down for everybody. Just wanted to say what's up to everybody that's on the YouTube, that's on the app right now. Thank you for joining us. Things are gonna be moving today, but we got more time to breathe. So you know,
It's
my
gonna
boy, we're
be
gonna
fun.
do this.
We like to keep you guys on your toes. You know
Yes,
what I mean? You don't
sir.
know who's gonna be here each week.
Yes, sir.
but,
Yes, sir. So
one thing's for certain, we're gonna bring that heat for you
yes,
guys.
sir. We're gonna bring that heat. So let's get it started.
Let's do it.
And the question of the day is, what were our first thoughts when we met each other? Now there's just us two. We could,
Damn, we're gonna reminisce.
Don't fight about
we're
this.
gonna
So,
way back.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah,
'cause
I'll
you're
go
the
first
youngin', you
because
know
I'm
what
the
I mean?
youngin'. Yeah. So, just a little bit backstory. I met Ricks in college at UCLA. Shout out, greatest university in the United States.
Yes, sir. Bruins.
Bruins, baby. But yeah, so got to UCLA, went in my dorm, my dream school to be there, and the first 2 weeks I hated it. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I didn't relate to the people in my dorms.
Yeah.
They're talking about, hey, fall break, let's go to Aspen, Colorado.
Yeah.
You down? I'm like, I'm down. Yeah, it'd just be like 5K. 5K? I don't even have $500, let alone
that's
5K.
real.
And it just didn't remind me of the guys I grew up with, all my boys. I missed them back
Yeah.
home. And I've always thought about joining a fraternity, wasn't sure if it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Met some of the guys in the fraternity that were actually brothers in, and they seemed cool, but I was like, I don't know. These really ain't my type of people per se, I guess.
For sure.
And fortunately, they convinced me to go to like an informational, and that's where I kind of met you, Ricks, some of the other roommates. I met Rennie, my big bro Deuce. You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, these are my people. These are the type of dudes that I want to hang out with, that I want to be part of.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
for you specifically, Ricks, like one thing I really appreciated about you was, one, you had a great sense of humor. You were
Always.
a funny guy,
Always,
definitely.
yes.
But yet you were still taking care of business. And I saw how you were able to have fun, but still contribute to the fraternity.
Yeah.
And like do good things beyond just, school. You know what I mean? I respected that a lot.
Oh, no doubt. Respect for that.
You know what I mean? And I appreciated your dynamic with the older guys. Like, like you had your respect, you had your little swag to you.
Yeah.
And then I heard you rap, and I was like, oh shit, he can rap too? Man, I can't do that, but that's dope.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's definitely was my first impression.
For sure. Well, I'm still trying to troubleshoot some of this stuff, but I do appreciate that. And definitely, I think when I first met you, I saw a spitting image of the type of look that I had, which was, the really short hair, la brocha. You had that brocha mustache that we had. You know what I mean? It was
the
always
whiskers.
It was always comedy, but just seeing that you got along with us, the older guys, a little bit better than your classmates. You're a little bit more mature. You weren't so, you weren't such a little kid at the time.
I appreciate that.
It was always a good time, and you fell right in with us. Like you started hanging out with us, and what's cool is that even seeing you grow up in college, coming from me, that I was now an alumni at the time, an alum.
Yeah.
Seeing you grow up, and when you became the president at the fraternity,
yes, sir.
That was awesome that you were holding it down and doing all this stuff, which was good. But continuing that relationship that we grew from college, and we started playing softball together.
Yes,
and then
sir.
now, now we're doing this. So
yeah, man, doing bigger
so
and better
good
things.
times for that, man. Obviously, we grow as people. We've seen each other now grow in relationships, and now you're having a family, and we have this going on. So it's definitely awesome. It's great to see, and I'm just really proud of that. So
I agree, man.
that's why we're here, and now we got to give the people what they want, which is that good stuff. So I'm gonna do my best, Jesse, and say, Nah, I can't do that, man. Nah. I'm gonna go ahead and hit them with that. ¿Qué pasó, mi gente?
¿Qué onda?
This is your boy Rix Andogra from Brown Wealth Radio. This is episode 9, and we're gonna be calling it. And then there were two. Yessie and Rennie are not here today, but they did leave us some gems that we're gonna be sharing with everybody. So, Dogra, does that count as ghostwriting?
Nah, that's not.
They're not writing our bars,
Nah,
are they?
They just help us prepare the content. They had other obligations that they had to be there, which we completely understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all the big shots, they got people writing stuff for them left and right. So
yeah, there you go. So that's good to know. So we're gonna give everybody what they want. We're gonna give them some good information. We're gonna be discussing debt because it ain't going nowhere. Everybody, debt. Household debt, student loan debt. We've been talking about it, owning a home debt, all of that good stuff. We're going to be talking about news on baby formula shortages. So,
it's real.
For all you new parents that have babies out there, there's some shortages going on, and this bloody market that we're seeing right now, man. That thing's insane, man. If we get to it, gas prices again going up. Especially down there in SoCal, they're still going up, man. It's hurting right now. It's hurting for us that have to drive to work and everything like that. And what's up with all of these companies and their stock prices getting destroyed?
I mean,
right after earnings.
There's already blood in the street, so them earnings aren't looking good.
It ain't. Yeah, it's real. It's real out there in them streets, man.
Definitely an overreaction.
But it's not all bad news, guys.
No.
My boy Dogra is gonna come correct with that credit knowledge, that those credit hacks, because
little nugget,
because
tidbits.
We want to help our communities out here. We want to get you guys all approved for future home ownership and the thing that's going on with that, so that we could start building that foundational wealth.
Yeah.
But as always, I gotta hit you guys with a disclaimer because
hit them with it.
I'm actually here. So that is that. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for educational and informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own research, aka do your homework before making any investment decisions, and they should be based on your own personal circumstances. Investing has inherent risk, and past performance does not guarantee future results. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that we wish to rely upon with a purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. It felt different today. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't bring my stopwatch. I'll bring the stopwatch next week. We gotta time that.
Yeah. So
but yeah, let's move on to some of the.
Now let's get some of that news going. I mean,
what's the 411, hon?
What's the 411?
I got it going on,
I got it going on, hon.
Yeah. So what is the 411, man? Let them know what it is.
So
man.
Household debt near 16 trillion despite rising rates and inflation. Even with rampant inflation and rapidly accelerating interest rates, household borrowing climbed to start 2022, and it hit a new record. The Federal Reserve reported on Tuesday. Consumer debt and credit rose 1.7% in the first quarter to 15.84 trillion. The rise in total household credit was propelled largely by a 250 billion increase in mortgage debt, which now stands at 11.18 trillion. An increase of 10% from the first quarter in 2021. So, even with inflation, even with things going up, the housing market going up, people are still getting in more debt.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Riggs?
Well, it's really because people had to get in more debt. You know, people had to get in debt, and obviously anybody that, as the housing market boomed, people were going to take on more of that debt, and it just makes sense that this debt is growing. This debt is growing, and it's going to keep growing because as things get more expensive, what do you have to do? You got to borrow more.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it comes down to, even though, the interest rate on mortgages has gone up to about 5.5%, I think now.
Yeah.
it's still at historic lows.
Yeah.
And with access to information, with what we're trying to tell people, with everyone or more people understanding the concept of building wealth, I kind of want to stop paying rent. I want to start owning something.
Yeah.
So as much as the price of houses are going up, people are still trying to get in them. Now, the one caveat to it is the people that say that were qualifying for an $800,000 house at 3%, 3.5% interest, now only be like 720 at this 5.5 or 700.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to get something, and houses, nationwide, there's areas that are plateauing, dropping.
Yeah.
LA, it's its own little bubble. I don't know if
it's still a big market, obviously, and I don't think it's gonna go anywhere.
No, it's the 7th largest economy in the world. So
Yeah.
that plays a factor in it too.
Yes.
But also, let me get to the next point.
Go
Credit
ahead.
card balances actually fell during the 3-month period by 15 billion.
They must have been listening to Brown Wealth Radio here on TGN Latinx.
But still remains 71 billion, or about 9% higher than they were from the same period a year ago.
Okay.
And basically, hopefully that means that people are understanding that let me pay off this debt, stop letting these creditors eat off my interest, because I need to save as much capital as I can
to get more debt while buying
to get better debt.
Yeah, we'll get better debt that's appreciated.
Yeah, appreciated. Yeah,
eventually,
or you
get equity and stuff like that.
You know what I mean? Auto loan originators declined in the first quarter after what the New York Fed described as a historically brisk 2021, in which used vehicle prices soared by nearly 27%.
Well, wasn't it just in the last year and a half that used cars became almost more valuable in some cases?
No, they did. They did.
Yeah.
Really. Well, it goes back to this.
I guess not more valuable, but people were a lot quicker to buy them.
Well, it goes back to the law of supply and demand.
Yeah.
They could not manufacture the new cars in time. Car companies were like, hey, I only have less. So if you want one, I'm going to charge you more.
For sure.
And then people are like, you know what? I'm not paying $10,000 over sticker. I'd rather just get a used car. But then the used car market was like, hey, normally I can sell this for $5. I'm going to sell it for $7 or $8.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And before you keep going with this story, do got to shout out the people on the YouTube. Our boy Rennie, he may not be here with us in person, but he's with us here in spirit. What's good, my boy? And then our boy Deuce, don't worry, we're gonna hit you with that Easter egg pretty soon. We got you.
We got you.
Doger said he's gonna get you with that one. But let's keep talking about this debt, man. I know it's the key word of the day.
Student loan debt climbed about 14 billion in the first quarter, bringing the annual increase to 6.5%.
So it's two things. Schools continue to get more expensive.
Yes.
And more kids are going to college.
Of course.
More kids are taking advantage of that route of getting there because, let's be real, the job market out there, with just a high school diploma, although you could get a trade, although you can do this, you still need a piece of paper that says you can do this job. And you either go to a trade school when you're going to pay for that, or the other thing.
It's not the word need, but it helps a lot of people, because there are a lot of people that do it without it.
Yes.
But the majority, it helps. It's kind of necessary.
But a lot of careers are asking for more of those pieces of paper.
100%.
Just for entry level jobs. And that therein lies the problem, where you have to spend, a lot of money to get a piece of paper to be an intern, to eventually get an entry level job.
Also, why are they getting in more debt? Because for them to eat, for them to housing, books, everything else is going up because of why? Inflation.
Yep, exactly.
The acceleration in debt overall comes with consumer price inflation up 8.5% over the past year through March.
Yeah.
And with interest rates surging to multi-year highs, 30-year mortgage rates are now running around 5% after being closer to 3% just a year ago, according to Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
Mortgages make up 71% of all household debt, a number that has consistently climbed.
And again, all that goes to say, again, with the debt, things are more expensive. Everything's more expensive, whether it's a car, whether it's groceries, whether it's school, whether it's a house, and people have to take on more debt. And now these rates are also starting to go up. So again, this number is going to consistently go up.
And real quick, I want you guys to pay attention to that, because we're going to connect it later on in our Brown Wealth section.
Yep.
But it really is interesting that 71% of all household debt is made up of mortgages.
Yeah.
Households have originated 8.4 trillion in new mortgage debt since the COVID pandemic began. The result of a reallocation trend out of the cities and into the suburbs. A move that has coincided with a massive rise in prices. The New York Fed reported The median house price has soared 30% over the past 2 years, 428,700, according to the census data.
So we were talking about these median house prices, how they've been moving up, and in some places they're kind of starting to stagnate a little bit, but that's across the country now. So a lot of people have moved out to the burbs. A lot of people have been getting priced out. You know, you could say it's gentrification. You could say, you could say all of these things, but at the end of the day, people have to go live where they could afford it.
Now, there's always one unique thing about what's causing this increase, this 30%, how it soared 30%. And that is because a lot of people took advantage of that low interest rate.
Yes.
A lot of people refinanced their homes, took money out, which in a lot of ways could have been a smart thing. You take, you bought your house at 400,000. It's now appraised at 700,000.
Yeah.
Take out 150,000 of equity out of that house, pay off debt, buy a second property, invest in something. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people took advantage of that. But again, as we connect it to our Brown Wealth section, who were majority of those people? We'll find out later.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that soon. So let's move on to our next story. And this goes out to all our new parents and
shout out Johnny Scratch.
Shout out to Johnny Scratch, our boy DC, who's also in the comments, who's been looking for this stuff. And
baby Jonathan and baby Malia.
Yep. A story from the New York Post says that a baby formula shortage has turned into a nationwide food crisis for parents across the country. Retail outlets have seen a 30% drop in the availability of some popular brands due to, again, supply chain issues, labor shortages, inflation, and safety concerns. In February, Abbott Nutrition recalled formula made in its Michigan plant and shut down facilities after 2 infants died, and several others were hospitalized after consuming the product. The FDA has not cleared the factory to reopen, and it's unclear when the production will be able to resume. So, more factors. Not just that there's more demand. So it's not like there's a bunch of babies out there.
I don't want to say it's more babies. It's the production part, and it's real. Like, who's been into a retail store recently and walked down the baby section?
Do people know? I know people that work for big box retail, and and they've been telling me all this stuff about how crazy it's been getting.
Oh, the aisle's empty. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it looks like the store isn't doing their job, but there really isn't inventory.
Yeah.
People are, I work for a big box retailer, and people are asking me if I have things in stock and what's going on. You know what I mean? Shout out, even Jesse was asking me about it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and it's real, and it's crazy because this is a necessity.
It's vital. It's vital to these infants that need these things. And
there aren't many substitutes either. Of course, breast milk is definitely something that mothers do. Not all mothers can produce the breast milk needed, or can't keep up with it, or can't produce it at all.
So out of these things that these reasons that we see this 30% drop from the supply chain issues, the labor shortages, and inflation, which one of the three do you think is right now the number one thing that needs to get fixed in order to help this?
I mean, honestly, I would think it is the supply chain issues and the labor shortages. I think those are the two biggest, because you have to make it. Like, there's still the demand to buy it. People still want to give their money for this. It's not like it's a nice to have. It's a need to have.
It's a necessity.
There's even a formula that my friend has to order from Europe because it's a special formula that the child needs because of its ability to break down protein.
You
know what I mean? And they're struggling to get that. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's real. It's needs to be addressed. Hopefully it does fix itself. You know what I mean? But like I said, there's not enough out there.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the idea of trying to give the kids muscle milk, guess you guys can't do that, right?
No, muscle milk is not going to work. No.
Yeah, so I guess we can't give them muscle milk. Chris, go ahead and get on with this next story about Carvana.
All right. Carvana cuts 2,500 jobs and execs to forego pay for severance. Online automotive retailer Carvana says it's letting go about 2,500 workers, roughly 12% of its workforce, as it tries to bring staffing and expenses in line with sales. The Phoenix company said in a regulatory filing Tuesday that its executive team is giving up salaries for the rest of the year to help fund severance pay for the workers. I mean, I guess you could say it's a good thing, but I mean, if I'm getting laid off, it's Severance isn't going to do too much for me down the
Yeah,
road.
absolutely.
Carvana, which sells online and delivers used vehicles to buyers, says the laid off workers will come from operational groups. The company says it will be transitioning operations away from its auto reconditioning center in Euclid, Ohio, near Cleveland, as well as from other logistical hubs. The filing said the moves are difficult, but with facilities, Carvana is returning to efficient growth on its mission to change the way people buy and sell cars. The layoffs come just a few weeks after Carvana posted a $506 million loss in the first quarter, 6 times larger than the same period a year ago.
Yeah.
So do you notice the one thing though? Anytime a company struggles or has a problem, sure, I'm the big executives. I'm not going to take any more money the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But my salary was probably 300,000-500,000 anyway, or millions per se. But who loses their jobs?
It's always
The blue collar worker.
It's always the worker. Yeah, it's
The
always the
regular.
worker. They're the easy ones to cut.
The ones that actually do the work, that
Yes.
pick up the car,
Yeah.
drop the car off, check the car, complete the sale of the used car or the purchase of the used car.
They are literally the building blocks of all of these things that happen. And even with a company like Carvana that does a lot of things online, you still need people that run all of these things.
Of course.
Yeah, and real quick, just a shout out to our boy Keith, who logged on real quick and helped us get this whole little stream thing that we had going on. I hope that he saw that I was doing everything right this time, because I took meticulous notes on how exactly to connect everything. And I thought I had it all going. And for whatever reason, something wasn't connecting. But again, to our YouTube, I figured that out real early.
good.
So we got that going on real quick. But yeah, let's move on to one more little story real quick, right? In honor of our boy Rennie.
Rennie,
So
real
let
quick.
me take a
Take a
little
drink.
shot for Rennie. And that is recent drop in oil prices may not make a difference at the pump, Dogra.
It may not.
A story by local12.com says that despite the increase in prices at the pump, oil prices fell below $100 a barrel. But Dehan says that due to the nature of the market, it may not be indicative of potential savings. He says, and I quote, where is it? He says,
You want me to read it?
no, he says that the problem has been in the last few weeks, we've seen an extreme amount of volatility with oil prices gyrating violently. So it's hard to know if the decrease in oil prices Monday, Tuesday, earlier this week will continue to keep prices down, or they will stick around long enough for gas prices to go down. So average gas prices are holding steady above $4. Where can I find gas for $4?
That's a nationwide number, not Cali.
Yeah, exactly. And in some areas, seen prices above $6. And Hans says there's a chance that Americans could be dealing with these prices for much of the year. And I saw a story earlier in the news talking about just how that may force people to, instead of doing road trips during the summer, they may just fly somewhere. So are these gas prices, are they affecting what potentially you're going to do in the summer?
I mean, they definitely can. It just depends. Like, one thing I will say about the gas is I've never seen bigger lines at Costco.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, all right, I'm going to save X amount of dollars, $5, $10, $20, filling up my tank at Costco. But time versus money, I'll just go to a regular gas station. My time is worth more than that per se.
For sure.
Guess what? I'm in line at Costco every week.
Yeah, you have to.
Not for one car, for two.
Oh, well, yeah, you have two.
You know
You don't
what I
have a
mean?
Tesla?
No. I'm not
Charger
ready
with-
yet. I want to
yeah.
be one day when I grow up.
Hopefully one day we'll be getting them EVs and everything like that.
But I'm not there.
I do have a hybrid in the household, and obviously that one's big for when we take road trips. My car obviously is not, and gas, just putting in gas to go to work every day is obviously becoming a thing. For me personally, it definitely has affected what I want to do for the summer. If I'm going to go somewhere, it's going to be flying. So that's going to be what we're going to be doing.
I mean, and also what's crazy is it's affecting transportation like Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
One of my employees that works
Surge
for the
pricing.
company that works for me at the company I work at, her car broke down. She's a dedicated employee, wants to be at work, and she tells me her Uber ride there and back was $60.
Wow.
I was like, no way, it's $60. Like, no way, come on.
She would have to work like 2.5 days
in my head,
to make
I'm like,
that money.
thinking in
It's
my
not
head,
even
like,
worth it.
you coming to work, you're half your day working here is to pay,
Yeah, exactly.
the Uber. And
Yeah,
then so I
that's
pulled
rough.
up Uber on my phone and I put in the general area she was coming from, and no lie, it was like $26. And I was
insane,
like,
man.
that's like a couple miles away. That's
Yeah.
not even like that far. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow, inflation's real.
Yeah, no, it's real. And as always with a lot of these stories that we talk to you guys about,
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
Yes, sir.
If you don't read,
So we got a couple of minutes left. So we are going to make sure that we hit that mercado. So let's go ahead and hit them with it.
I need a dollar, dollar, dollar. That's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, dollar.
Brother, can you spare a dime? Because my boy, it was blood out on these streets,
Blood in
man.
the streets. Red wine.
And we are playing red wine, but man, I'm gonna need something a lot stronger to get me through this time than wine, my boy. Because
just don't open your brokerage.
Yeah,
just leave it alone.
yeah, just-
long-term investing. I
Yes.
haven't opened it. I guarantee
we're not
you it's
financial
red.
advisors, but if you're not buying the dip, just don't even look at it. Just let the market do its thing. And just today, the S&P 500 went down 65.87 points, down to $3,935.18. The NASDAQ went down 373.44 points to $11,364.24. And the Dow Jones went down $326.63 to $31,834.11. So
Now I know that's a lot of red.
yeah,
Been red.
It's been red. It's been red for the last week or so. And
Everyday red.
our boy, the stock guru,
The
Rennie,
technical analysis is not
Mr.
here.
Technical Analysis, but he's been giving us some good information about
In our chat, we think
yeah.
it's bottoming. We think
Yeah,
it's getting near the
we're
bottom.
getting close to the bottom, and soon we should be seeing some uptick. And as always, the market has consistently gone 8 to 9% up every year. Rennie said it earlier. If it went up 6% in the first month, that means that in 11 months it doesn't have much room to grow. So you're gonna go down. You're gonna hit some bumps on this ride. But again, we're not here for the rips. We're not here for the quick flips. We're here for long-term investing. And honestly, again, if you stay consistent, if you believe in the countries that you're companies that you're investing in,
Apple's on sale.
yeah. And these things right now, they're on sale. So, if you have the clips, buy the rips, baby.
Buy the rips.
So we're going to be going to commercial soon. But again, if you are just tuning in because we just got connected fully, we are Brown Wealth Radio here on TGN Latinx on the Good News Radio Network. And we have some more information coming up after the commercial break. We're going to be talking about some earnings. We're going to be talking about some credit. And we're going to be talking about some numbers about household income and the disparity between races. And so catch you pretty soon. All right.
All right. And then there were two.
And we're going to be talking about some numbers about household income and the disparity between races.
It's back, Jax. Have you heard? It's back.
Michael, what are you talking about? What's back?
The podcast pit. It is returning Monday, May 23rd. Brand new venue.
Oh my God, the podcast pit is back. Exciting. Where's it at?
It's going to be at Jackson's Daily at 7:30 p.m.
I know where that's at. That's at 11168 Washington Boulevard in Culver City.
So, Jax, will I see you there?
Oh, you know it, baby.
You want to punch people in the face and not get fired for it? Tune in Monday night for Monday Night Compton Mania, only on the TGN Network. Wellesley.
Only on TGN Sports. Hey, what's up, business owners? Are you looking to take your business a step forward? Are you looking for more people to know what you have to offer? You are in luck. The Good News Radio has a special deal for you right now. You can get a commercial slot 4 times a day, every day for a month. If you are interested, email contact@tgnradio.net for more information.
What's up, everyone? It's your girl Jules from the Primos Chidos. Did you know that recent studies have proven that the Primos Chidos radio increases life expectancy and loss of weight? So make sure to catch us every Thursday at 12 p.m. on the TGN Latinx station.
It's back, Jax. Have you heard? It's back.
Michael, what are you talking about? What's back?
The podcast pit. It is returning Monday, May 23rd. Brand new venue.
Oh my God, the podcast pit is back. Exciting. Where's it at?
It's going to be at Jackson's Daily at 7:30 p.m.
I know where that's at. That's at 11168 Washington Boulevard in Culver City.
So, Jax, will I see you there?
Oh, you know it, baby.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit is coming. The Podcast
Pit is coming.
Are you looking to buy a home? Are you looking to sell your home? If your answer is yes, call the Walker Group at 310-421-6464. With over 18 years experience, the Walker Group has serviced clients throughout Southern California with their real estate need. Let us be of service to you as well. Once again, call the Walker Group at 310-421-6464 or visit our website at www.e.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to everybody that's on the YouTube. Welcome everybody that's on the TGN radio app. Shout outs to everybody that's on the comments. And again, we are Brown Wealth Radio here on TGN Latinx and the Good News Radio Network. It is your boy today, Rix, with my boy Dogra. Jesse and Rennie are out, and we miss you guys. Make sure you guys come back ASAP. If you haven't followed us, well, actually, before the break, let me slow down a little bit. Before the break, we covered the bloody market that we had. We also talked about all of this debt that's around us and some baby formula shortages. But we got much more in store for everybody. And do you hear that or what?
Yeah, I think you gotta hit stop on that. There you go. No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Now I was hearing myself.
It's a little difficult
cool.
when it's just two of us
with like a little
running.
delay and everything like that.
We're missing the 50%.
Yeah, when you miss, two pillars, it's kind of hard. But we're here doing our thing. We're gonna keep
baby.
We're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep
my boy
bringing
Caesar Leo could do it by himself, us two could do it too.
Shout outs to Caesar Leo, man. That was a fun show that you guys had, man. If you haven't followed us on social media, have you followed us?
Oh yeah, I do.
At the Brown Skin Investors.
At the Brown Skin
we
Investors.
have all sorts of stuff. We're doing reels now. We got some financial literacy. We got some good little videos, and there is a link to buy our webinar course, Brown Wealth Matters Stock Market course, and some Brown Wealth Matters merch. Right here, we are modeling a little bit today. And as always, are you building a business and you want to get your name out there to the people? Well, join us. Hit us up on our IG DM and advertise your business and ventures with us and the Good News Network right now, because our prices are still low. So let's move it on. We got to go back and speak to some earnings, right, Douglas? So I'm going to go ahead and hit him with that Bad Bunny because...
Oh, Bad Bunny. We might have to update the new album on this.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to add some new to that album. What do you think of the album real quick, just before we move on?
I think it's hot. I think it's fire. I think the people that are trying to say it's not as good, it's like I can't take you slam every time.
But not even then, I can't take you seriously if you don't think what he was doing was good right now.
That's true
you
too.
Know what I mean?
I really like how he's mixing the 90s, the reggaeton with the
I like the mixing of the
fire.
Latin music and the Latin infusion and all that type. So let's hit our boy Deuce with that Easter egg, man. I know that you've been having it on deck. So let's go ahead and play that thing from our boy Deuce real quick. Deuce, this one's for you right here. Yeah, there you go. That one's for you, my boy. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. So now that we had some fun, let's go ahead.
All right, let's get to the earnings. Let's get to the earnings. So, is this the final collapse for growth stocks? It's been blood in the streets. The overall market is down, and when it's earnings season, I mean, unless you are stellar with your earnings report, it's very difficult to go up while the rest of the market is going down.
Yeah.
So we'll cover a couple companies like Upstart, Unity Software, Tattoo Chef, which I'm pretty invested pretty heavily in. DraftKings.
That one's
Block.
Not financial advice, but I'm in that one as well.
Roblox. I think Roblox definitely has a great future, but it's blood right now.
It's hurting.
Coinbase, Shopify.
Yep.
Well, guess what? All of them got destroyed after earnings.
All of them. All of them got destroyed, man. So they had some decent quarters, right?
Yes, some reported some decent quarters, some reported some bad quarters, and some reported good guidance, and others didn't. You know what I mean? And with all that in consideration, with the market down, that's not a reason for it to go up. So now let's talk about Coin.
Go ahead.
They had a strong balance sheet, sold off on news of reduced revenue, lower transaction fees, and updates on the 10Q. So, nothing stellar there, nothing to make investors go wow about it. Plus, I think nobody wants to jump in right now when there's sharks in the water, so to speak.
Yeah.
So everyone's trying to see where it lands. What do you think about DraftKings?
Well, DraftKings, I've always been a big fan of it.
Yes, he has.
I really have.
He's rode that wave.
I mean, man, like with sports betting, now that it's becoming legal in certain places, you're gonna see an uptick on people wanting to get into this gaming thing. And I was going pretty good on it. And even with increased revenue guidance, it's expecting smaller losses, and it had improved earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation. And again, when you're speaking to this, the balance sheets, the business model and the balance sheets, they can get better over time. It doesn't necessarily mean that the demand for buying the stock is always going to be there. And that's something that Jesse, the fundamental guy, always speaks to, that the fundamentals will tell you whether it's a viable company in the long run, but at the time, it doesn't tell you everything. And that's why you want to be able to mix the fundamentals and the technicals.
Yeah, and true. A lot of times when there's companies that you see in the future doing really well, sometimes that future projection gets priced in.
Yeah.
And then it gets shaken out and it comes back to reality. So, DraftKings could be something that gets back to that number down the road.
Did you say donkey?
I did. But also FanDuel is doing really well.
Yeah.
I think in terms of competing with that. I'm hearing a lot of people that do gamble use FanDuel a lot more. Before it was a lot more DraftKings. So they got more competition.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Square, also known as Block. They didn't meet revenue, their earnings per share, but expect Cash App and Square to keep growing. Initially it popped, but then it sold off.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there was it was a big pop. Like, it was doing really well and then it popped, but it's the nature of the time.
This is right after earnings.
Yeah.
It went up, but then it sold off.
Yeah. So
like that company right there, has a great future for what the service that it provides.
Yeah.
Now, again, was there a lot of people invested in that company for what it can do later on down the road? Or is it the market just pulling back itself?
Yeah.
Nobody really knows. But if you're holding it long term, what do you think, Rix?
I mean, when you have viable companies and you're seeing something that's going to continue to build as far as the nature of transactions, it's going to become, a lot more prominent than cash, right?
Yes, sir.
So these are the type of companies that will be there in the long run. Now, necessarily whether you end up getting these big rips or these massive jumps in the stock price, I mean, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
If we knew this, we'd be telling everybody invest in this because it's going to go up. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody knows. They're going to know.
So what about Shopify?
I mean, they increased revenue from year before heavily, but didn't meet revenue and earnings estimates. So when you don't meet the estimates that, those people put out there, the professionals put out there, it looks bad. So you're not going to go up.
Yeah. So Rennie asked these questions, and I think he did a good job of asking these questions. He said, do the results matter? Or is it just a market looking to kill off growth stocks? And most companies in all sectors, they've been dropping after earnings. So some things that he wants us to consider, and I'm going to go ahead and now say that these are my lyrics. So
go right ahead. Nobody knows.
I'm about to Drake this information.
And that's that. He had to go at Drake about it. At least you didn't go after my boy Lil Weezy.
Yeah.
Shout out Keith.
Well, if it was Lil Weezy, he'd be saying some weird stuff like I Shopify to Shopify. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't be hating on Lil Weezy.
Yeah. So, and that's that. Analysts have dropped most of their price targets for these stocks, but the average price target is still higher, significantly higher than the current stock price. So in other words, all of these projections that are still going on from these massive, these massive trading things are saying, they are still going to go up.
No, for sure. So, Square is trading in the 80s, but the average price target's about 160 or up. Shopify's trading in the 300s, but the average price target's in the 600s. DraftKings trading around $11, but the average price target's $30.
Yep.
Because
and shout out to Cesar Leo for joining us today, man. Like, yeah, you know what? It might be time. It might be time to go hard on them penny stocks. So
I don't know about that. Be careful with that. No. We're not financial advisors, but
we're not financial advisors, and we don't know it all. We don't know it all. But if you want to see somebody that does know it all, check out my boy Cesar Leo.
He knows it all.
Cesar Leo's show on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. So make sure y'all check him out.
But let's talk about some things to consider. Many of these companies are up against previous stellar earnings reports that didn't adjust guidance and are now paying the price. you can't continue to have such great results. You can't continue to outperform yourself like that. I mean, you can, it just doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
I like to say you come back to reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not everybody's a blue chip, you know. It's unfair to believe that every stock is going to just continue to go up year after year after year, that their earnings are going to go up year after year. I mean, it's just.
And I mean, listen, there's a reality to it. We call them the whales, right? The institutional, the fund, institutional funds, they know there's a lot of new people with a lot of new money in the market that wasn't there maybe 5 years ago. So they're able to buy and sell hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars worth of stock at any given time.
Yeah.
Because they're not worried about tax implications, or they can work on that. I think people like us that invest take tax implications, capital gains tax into consideration. I personally don't really like selling stocks before that year. I know some, do, but that's why sometimes, it goes down because they took their profits, they took their money.
Yeah.
It's not saying anything about the company, but it's just part of the game.
And for something, it's just a strategy or whatever. And obviously, when things go down, all it really, for us that are looking into these long-term investments, it's really just an opportunity for us to do what?
Buy the dip.
Buy more. Yeah, buy more.
And things to consider. In today's inflation increasing environment, can these stocks return to their previous high? We're not a crystal ball. It's hard to say. I mean, I think Coin will get back there. I think Square will get back there. I mean, again,
if a company is continuing to have good fundamental business practices and good fundamental business, sheets, as Jesse says, it may not mean that the stock is going to grow exponentially, but slow and steady will win the race in a lot of these instances. So,
definitely
always do that. But
so
that was some good information.
Earnings.
That was some good information. Jesse and Rennie, good job on that one.
Yeah, we
I'm
try
still
to
gonna take
intimidate
credit
our
for
two
it.
boys.
I'm still going to take credit for it, but let's keep this moving. My boy Douglas here, ready to go. Because why?
Round me cream, get that money. Dollar bill, y'all. Yep. Again, that's credit rules, everything around me.
Yes, sir.
All right. So something we're going to cover today. What debt collectors don't want you to know. So I'm sure you guys get those phone calls. I'm sure you guys get that mail. Sometimes it's legitimate. Sometimes it isn't. There is sometimes identity theft that impacts you or just fraud going on in general.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there are times where in the past you didn't pay something off. You let it go to collections. And what does that company do with that? They basically sell it to a debt collector, right? And what does that debt collector do? Come knocking on that door. Hey,
how do they get our numbers on?
Because they get it from where you originally got the debt from. You get what I mean? So what do you do when you get a bunch of statements or a bill from a debt collector? Do you notice how it doesn't come with any type of contract, purchase agreement, anything like that? It just says you owe this much money because of this debt to this company.
Yeah.
And the people
will take less.
Well, yes, they definitely will reconcile and take less because, again, usually what happens is, let's say you owe Curaçao. Shout out Curaçao. I saw it the other day.
Okay, I'm like, all right, cool.
Let's say you owe $500 back from 10 years ago or 5 years ago. You forgot about it. You didn't pay it. They're going to sell that to a debt collecting company, pennies on the dollar, right? Because Curaçao is just going to end up writing it off anyway. So they're not concerned about taking that L.
Yeah.
But the debt collectors are going to pay, I don't know, $20 for that $500 potential debt.
Yeah.
And they're paying someone to call you.
Yeah.
To try to get you to pay it off. Okay.
So they're buying this debt really, really cheap and just trying to recoup and some.
Yeah, I mean,
essentially
they're
that's
basically
the business.
they're buying.
Yeah,
they're not buying the debt. They're buying the opportunity to collect that debt
to get it.
Yeah. Okay,
so they're buying like the receipt basically.
To an extent, yeah. So debt buyers usually have a bill of sale on assignment or purchase agreement. So the way in which anytime you get hit by a debt collector, what you should do is always ask for the original purchase agreement. And they're going to go, what? Yeah, I want to see the original purchase agreement. You're saying I owe money to Curaçao. You are X company trying to collect that from me. So how do you have the right to come at me when I owe the money to Curaçao? You must have had some type of purchase agreement to buy the opportunity to collect this debt from me. Now, when you start talking like that, they're going to look at you sideways because they don't want to show you that. Because does the original purchase agreement state everything on this item is full to the highest accuracy, or is it something wrong with it? You know what I mean? Like when you get that purchase agreement, or if they were to send it to you, does it really say you owe this money? Does it really say that they have the right to collect this money from you? That's not always the case. You know what I mean? Is the debt buyer allowed to sue for the listed purchase price debt per the purchase price agreement?
Okay.
Meaning, did this X company debt collection put it in the contract when they bought it from Curaçao? Was there something written in their contract that says they have the right to come at you for this money? And a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah.
Why? Because Curaçao's writing that off. They're going to write it off. So if I'm going to write it off, I can't sell you that debt.
Okay.
I can sell you the information to go after you.
Yeah.
So I could get some money on the side, but that takes into consideration.
Okay.
So why don't they want you to see that agreement? They usually have something to hide. And it's the biggest mistake we make because we don't know about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is like boggling my mind.
Oh yeah, we don't know to ask for it.
I mean, back in the day, I got hit with like some credit card fraud, and I was getting all of these notices and even calls, and they were trying to jump into like my banking account and everything like that. So go ahead, and then I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Well, there's
just to see
different
how it
ways.
works.
So, like for example, if it is true fraud, if it really is something that you didn't do, you can dispute it. You can challenge it. You could challenge it to Credit Karma, Experian. There's a lot of ways in which you could challenge it, and usually when it is fraud, it does go away. If you were, let's say you did actually take that credit card and you did owe and you didn't pay it, then the debt collector does have something that says you do owe this, but that's when you hit them with you want to see that purchase agreement. And you could actually look online. I learned this myself, helping one of my friends clear some of his debt. I found a little letterhead, a letter template that basically all I had to do was put in his information. It was already made. And I sent that to them. And I said, I want to see the purchase agreement that states you can go after me for this debt that I owe the third party.
Yeah.
Once I sent that, it was gone.
Okay.
And it wasn't gone. Now, another time I did it, they sent an affidavit, right? Which is like a legal document trying to say that he owes this money.
Yeah.
But if you look at the affidavit, the name they put that's against my friend wasn't Curaçao or the whatever company he owed, wasn't the debt collection company.
Yeah.
It was another name. I don't know that name.
Like it was a random name, like an LLC, a company?
Like a business.
Okay,
exactly.
Okay.
So that's just hearsay.
Yeah.
I have not done any business with them.
Yeah.
So I did not respond. We did not respond to that. And they stopped calling.
That's weird.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. So question about that.
Okay.
Not like that's really good information. Let's say you do get into collections and you have this debt and you eventually end up paying the debt collector. You pay the debt collector because it's 40 cents on the dollar. Does that clear up or does that help you with your credit? Because your credit's going down if you're going into collections.
Okay.
Does this help you rebuild some credit, or are you just paying off?
Rick's want another jam. He wants another jam. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go there.
Give some more to the people.
So basically, when you do owe the debt, right? And let's say you owe $1,000.
Yeah.
And they're telling you, we'll take 600.
Okay.
And it'll get it off your credit because it's already hit your credit score. You can pay that 600, but they're not obligated to take it off your credit score, off your credit report.
Oh, wow.
So when you are negotiating and you're saying, hey, I will pay this 600 on the
on this debt,
600 of the 1,000, but on the guarantee that you're going to take it off my credit report.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go, okay, that's cool. And sometimes they go, well, actually, we want all 1,000 then. And sometimes you do have to pay all 1,000.
Yeah.
But with the guarantee
Yeah.
that they're going to take it off your credit report.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are certain debt companies that won't even do that. They'll say, "No, we want our 1,000,
and that's it.
We're not hit. We're not going to settle, and we're not going to take it off your score." So there's 3 different scenarios there. But when you are negotiating or trying to reconcile collections, you make sure you got to ask.
You ask. Make sure you ask.
You make sure you ask because they have no obligation to. They don't care about your credit report.
Awesome.
They don't want to take it off.
Shout outs, man. That was some good information, my boy. So as we were aptly named, then there were 2. We just got 2 gems of this credit hack.
Yes,
so there you
sir.
go. Keeping it always moving. So let's get on to our last topic of the day. Let's get it.
Un pedacito de la historia negra, de la
Dime toda
historia
gente.
nuestra, caballero. Y dice así.
Y estamos acá todos. La gente, Dogra y Rix. Yes, sir. So we are now to our Brown Wealth Matters topic of the day. And this was something that we've been talking about, and it's something that it's been real exciting to see our friends be able to be in a position to buy houses, potentially second houses, potentially investment properties, all of this stuff.
Shout out my boy Mega Cap Vic.
And so I wanted to learn more about, how big is this, the divide or the gap, between
people of color,
people of color and being able to buy houses. So I looked into 2021 profile of home buyers and sellers reports, and that there's characteristics about recent home buyers by race and ethnicities. And that way we can see how the home buying process differs between races, and it also compares from last year. So among all home buyers, white and Caucasian home buyers made up the largest share of the entire market with 82%.
Wow.
So essentially that's saying 82% of the houses or homes in the United States are purchased and bought by white families, followed by Hispanic Latinos, 7%, Asian and Pacific Islanders at 6%, Black African Americans at 6%, and other at 2%. So right there, that's just obviously a massive disparity in ownership. We're talking ownership right now of homes. And you can look back into all these old policies that went on back in the days, all these policies about, people of color not being able to buy houses or being displaced from their houses, and just these things that were going on because in the 40s and the 50s,
redlining,
all that stuff that was going on. So you can look all that. But something that struck me in looking at it was that of the homeowners of people of color, basically, black and brown, Black and brown homeowners have the highest amount of student loan debt on top of it. And that is over $45,000 on average.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, black and brown go into buying a home already in the hole. So what is this? You've talked about it a lot, but it just goes to show that there always has to be a couple of steps taken back in order to start moving forward.
Definitely. We all don't start at the same spot in this race. Not everyone is starting from the same starting point. You know what I mean? When you see 2% of homes being purchased by Caucasians, I mean, that's just not homes being purchased. That's a lot of refinances happening.
Yeah.
But when they're refinancing, what are they doing? They're taking money out to buy more homes, to invest in more things. You know what I mean? They have that luxury. They have that opportunity. People of color still trying to pay off student debt.
Yes.
It's saying that 41% have student loan debt that actually own a home.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about the people that don't own a home.
No, we're not talking about people that just are renting.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so they own a home. That's a large amount of debt there.
A lot of debt.
Which is, we do argue it's good debt down the road.
Yes, because it appreciates.
But they also have student debt.
And essentially you want to think, like I would like to think that student loan debt is appreciating you in value when it comes to the market.
To an extent, yes. But then we got to go to predatory loans and how much interest rate you're paying there.
And we've talked about that already. And that's why we want you guys to all start setting up your 529s, and we want you guys to start setting your custodial accounts,
and that's
so that your kids don't have to go through.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to keep bringing this up and having these conversations to try to paint the picture to you guys about what we need to address. And that is that generational wealth.
And home ownership. What is the one thing you have to do in order to be able to get a home?
You got to be able to qualify.
You have to be able to qualify, and your application has to get approved, right?
Yes.
So check this out. 7% of black and brown homeowners were denied their mortgage applications, compared to just 4% of white Caucasian and 3% of Asian Pacific Islanders. And while the main reasons for these groups being rejected was their debt to income ratio, the main reason for black and brown was their low credit score.
Definitely. That's why we're talking about credit score. We're trying to help educate people on how to improve their credit score.
Yeah.
We're trying to help people understand you need to lower the amount of debt you have so that your debt to credit ratio looks better.
Yeah.
You need to set yourself up to have an opportunity to qualify at the same rates as those that do have these in good standing.
Yeah. So you have your three main reasons as to why you get denials. And this goes for everybody, but obviously you get a larger amount of denials in the Black and brown community because of the debt to income ratio, the lower credit scores, and the insufficient amount of
Funds
money
for
for
down
a down payment.
Definitely. Now, there are certain programs coming out, which I'm really excited about, especially here in California, that's going to help with down payments at 0% interest. More information to come on that. They're barely talking about it, but I think that's something really exciting, and that could help a lot of people of color kind of get that leg up to be able to build that generational wealth. But it's also, you know, the help from the generational wealth. You know, how many people,
and we're starting again. We are a few generations behind, but that's just what it is. And our boy Frank, who's joining us for the first time, man, thank you so much for joining us, Paco. Yeah,
man,
he
welcome,
came with a
brother.
really good point. He's saying that these communities have been segregated in LA for years, so certain neighborhoods appreciate it much differently than others.
1,000%.
And that's what's been able to create equity and all of these things.
Well, just so you guys know, you know, there was a huge Black and brown community living in Compton for a long time, right? A lot of those people tended to move to Palmdale. They were given vouchers to move to Palmdale. Why is that?
Just moving them out.
Gentrification.
Yeah, gentrification. Yeah, of course.
The Valley. Sherman Oaks and Encino. I grew up in the Valley. Shout out 818. Sherman Oaks and Encino appreciated more than any other city in the Valley.
Yeah.
And what is the major demographic? Sherman Oaks and Encino?
You already know.
Caucasian, Jewish, you know what I mean, type people. And don't get me wrong, the rest of the valley is appreciating also. Yeah. But Rennie and I were having a good conversation. I actually live in San Fernando right now. And
you guys were speaking
Sylmar
to
in San Fernando hasn't popped as much as the rest of the valley is. So we do think San Fernando Sylmar will have to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Like the other cities in the valley have grown already.
Yeah, it's the
so if you live
tide.
in Sylmar or San Fernando, you're going to see a lot more appreciation.
Yeah. And again, I think all of this is just an accumulation of things that we're trying to help the next generation avoid, because, you know, everything that we have gone through as a community, there are steps that we're trying to help rectify and help change.
There's a reason we study history. We can't change it, but we need to study it and know about it so we don't let it repeat itself.
Yes.
We have to drive the change now.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
Here. That's what our mission here as Brown Skin Investors, as Brown World Radio. We want to continue to give you guys the information and talk about what it is that's holding us back and what it is we need to do differently as a community of color.
So we're going to continue to help our communities and everybody that's joining us, whether you're checking us out on the TGN radio network. We want to help you understand how to get your debt to income ratio lower. We want to help you credit scores. Every week you're going to find out how to help your credit scores, and we're going to hopefully help you to invest so that you can continue to get that money that you need for the down payment. And so obviously now, for those on the radio app, thank you so much. But those of you on the YouTube,
we'll keep it going a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to keep it going on the YouTube, man. Thank you for everybody that joined us. Obviously, by the way, our boy Deuce, our boy Cesar Leo, thanks for the love, man. We've been checking out the show.
DC.
Our boy Paco, our boy DC, Rennie joined us for a little bit, man. It was good to see you, my boy. Thanks, Keith, for jumping on. Appreciate you, my boy. Yeah, thank you for helping us out with that, man. But it was pretty fun, man.
Yeah, man, it went by pretty quick, and just to wrap up, we were talking about, yes, we're speaking directly to the communities of color, but I do believe it's a socioeconomic status thing too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Caucasians as well that grew up in the same neighborhoods we did that didn't get the same opportunities. So
that's real, and we just bring this information because
to anybody and everybody that wants to learn, wants to grow.
But yeah.
Let's do it.
We're going to keep doing this. And next week, make sure that you join us, because I think everybody's going to be here next week.
I hope so.
I hope so too, because they better be here. But let's give them a little bit more of that bunny before we sign off, man. Thank you guys for everybody that's joining us. Y nos vamos con el Bad Bunny. Bye.
Yeah, buddy. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Shout outs, wifey. I just saw the comments.
I see you,
popping
girl.
up. Our boy Vic right there, little bro. Wifey, I love you. I hope you're feeling better. I'll be right there.
Hey, he's on his way. I won't hold him too long. Don't worry.
No Monties for me, my boy.
No Monties. Rennie's not here.
Let's upgrade that laptop. He got you.
Damn, you or me? Oh,
he's talking to you.
Nah, I got the Apple. He ain't banging on Apple, boy.
He's got to upgrade you. Yeah.
Oh, you want to upgrade me? All right, baby, let's do it. Let's do it.
Look at mine.
I thought we were talking about the brick over there.
Prehistoric right here.
That prehistoric brick over there.
Cool.
Appreciate the support, everybody. We
All right,
can't
y'all.
thank you
Peace
enough
out.
for joining us and listening to us.